I'm with the filly, Alligator. She's coming through just the best lead-up races. The Randwick Guineas, Rosehill Guineas. She was a bit stiff in that Rosehill Guineas, held up at a key stage, and then she got out late, surged at broadsiding just to miss him.
Yeah. Aliana is the best bet on the program. I think that she is building to a peak performance.
She's really opening up now, Aliana, and the filly's going to destroy them in the derby. Aliana, different class. Boy, she towed the boys up by 5.
I actually think that there's a really good bet in this race. I'm going to be backing Vin Rock. Won well on debut, and then at his second start, he's gone to a VRC size produce, set a fast tempo, and was still able to produce the second best last 4 and 200 metres of the race. So those sort of horses, when they put themselves into races, they're very hard to get past.
State Visit for Kieran Maher and Jason Collett. This horse reminds me of Militarised. I think State Visit can be over the top.
It's Vin Rock, State Visit, Vin Rock in front. Vin Rock won the English size. A photo for the minors, State Visit and Buffalo charged home.
What a week. Day 1 of the championships, Blake. Aliana, she did destroy them. And then Vin Rock, you read the play there. He was off the map in the size. State Visit filled the Quinella.
I was just a little bit too good for you, Lloydie.
You were just a
little bit too
good. I only had Vinrock in multis on Saturday, and obviously we were both sitting on big ticket State Visit, but you were the place only, and
it worked out well.
It worked out
perfectly
well.
for me.
Yeah. It was
I'm back Vinrock to win, and I had State Visit at $26 the place. So
yeah,
that was a nice result.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good for me because I was like, well, one of these is surely going to win here, so I can just cheer "come on" rather than saying the horse's name, and I'm cheering both of them at the same time. So,
well, you'll have to back up on State Visit in the Champagne.
Yeah,
next week.
but the winner's going to be hard to beat.
He's not going.
He's not.
Not going.
Oh,
no.
right. Well.
Yes. I think they notified stewards that he's gone to the paddock.
Okay.
So
all right.
It's good for you.
Yep. Not too bad at all. The Doncaster, Woodhead, he's not here to sort of claim his hot take crown, I guess. The fact that Bjorn Baker got his Group 1. Not in the race that he was expecting. He was expecting overpass in the TJ, but Steffi Magnetica in the Doncaster, a bit of a fizzer race, I thought.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a non-race.
Yeah.
It was very slow tempo.
Did I read 20 lengths
Bunch
slow to the
finish.
600 or something like that? Or for like Group 1 standard time
Potentially.
at Randwick? Yeah.
It was a very slow race. There was 10 horses that filled. The first 10 home, there was only 1.5 lengths between them. So not an epic Doncaster.
Not when you go into the race and we're talking about these big fields, high pressure, handicap conditions, like it's anyone's race, and then they just absolutely crawl. Linebacker was huge from the back,
and on paper it was.
They looked like there was going to be
one of the best Doncasters.
Yes,
but yeah, there was no tempo, which it never results in like deserved winner Steffi bounce back to her best, but. You don't get to see the best horses in those sort of races.
No, and we might get to see a pretty freaky sort of horse in the future who won the TJ, Briasa. The Hawks camp knows something about winning a TJ with a grey flash. Chautauqua did it 3 years in a row. Briasa sort of announced himself as a weight for age sprinting star of the future.
Yeah, a star is born. He measured up to weight for age. So makes Private Harry's form look good as well. So I think he's going to go to the all age now as well. I think the Mar horse from the back, he was really good.
Jimmy.
Yeah. Didn't he hit the line well?
He did, yeah.
And Headwall, he measured up.
We were sort of both a little bit critical of the
Well, I tell you what, he would have been very hard to beat in that Galaxy if he had drew a gate. But, he measured right up. He was electric.
Yeah, so he gets a Quokka slot now.
Yeah, he's going to Quokka.
He's going to Perth. Overpass, I assume, will be there.
Bjorn nearly got the Group 1 double.
Nearly, yeah.
So Woodhead nearly went bang bang.
Yeah, I know. He would have been up and about.
Isn't Bjorn just great for the sport? Like I wasn't on Steffi. There was no monetary gain for me, but you love to see him win big races. Bjorn, he's great for the sport. He promotes the sport. He's a likable character. He talk to anyone. Well done to the team.
Yeah, I've had a few people since Saturday message me and say the next horse that they want to buy, they want it to be with Bjorn Baker. he just seems to have that effect on everyone, I guess, like not just guys my age, but like great way to get people into the sport as well. Ryan Moore, Blake, he was on one of our horses on Saturday, Clean Energy. I think I read a stat that he's never ridden a winner at Randwick. He's on Woden, Clean Energy, 2 favourites in big races on Saturday. What do you make of him? I'd say J-Mac won.
J-Mac is definitely
Moore.
one. J-Mac is definitely one. But, yeah, Woden was just about the run of the day. I made him my lay of the day, and he was huge. The tempo in that race was strong, and he was just 3 deep, no cover, which is how Ryan likes to ride him. The other filly, she was good, but she wasn't as big as him. That was a slower tempo, so she sort of had a chance, and they got over the top of her. But, if Ryan was coming to Australia and there were Sydney jockeys available, I'd probably take any of the top 5 Sydney jockeys.
Yeah. Bit of sad news during the week that we saw from the Clinton McDonald camp. They posted it. Weekend Hustler has sadly passed away. Now, for those that don't know, Weekend Hustler is just one of Blake's favourite horses.
He is my all-time favourite horse.
All-time favourite horse.
Yeah.
I was a bit too young for him. I think we were talking about it on one of the earlier episodes on this show that I had these like magazines when I was a kid that had every Group 1 winner from the year, and I'm 95% sure Weekend Hustler was on the cover of one of those and featured a lot through it. But in terms of his actual wins, like none really stand out to me because I don't remember them. But for you, what was it about Weekend Hustler that you loved, and was there a win that stood out to you?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was about him that I loved, but I like the fact, I will say that I like the fact that he could win first up over 6 furlongs and then win over 1.25 miles in the same preparation. So there's not many horses that can do that. I got the quaddie the day that he broke his maiden. He won by about 10 lengths. And like I reckon he won an Australian Guineas and then came to Sydney and won like a George Ryder against the older horses. Like he was always thrown in the deep end. Like he was, they weren't frightened to run him. For example, I think he won a Caulfield Guineas and then 2-3 weeks later back to 1,200 meters and
won the Coolmore.
Yeah. So he was elite. He should have won a Cox Plate. He never went to a Cox Plate. They went to the Caulfield Cup instead.
Yeah, and he didn't run the trip. Yeah.
He had that Cox Plate at his mercy. Take the Cox Plate.
Yeah.
I would have liked it. He deserved a Cox Plate, that horse.
Did he win an Oakley Plate as well?
I can't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I had a feeling that like he won like an Oakley Plate and
he definitely won a Newmarket.
Yeah.
He won a Newmarket. But the Oakley Plate wouldn't have been out of the question. He wouldn't have been handicapped well in an Oakley Plate because he won everything as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, okay. So I've got it up here. So he won his maiden at Cranbourne by 3.5. Then he won at Sandown in a 0 to 72 3-year-old race by 8.
Oh, that's maybe the day
that was the day you might have been on
him.
And then he won another 3-year-old handicap by 4 at Sandown. Then he won the Caulfield Guineas by 2 3/4. Then, like you say, 1,600 back to 1,200, won the Coolmore, bolted in, beat Belmur and Scenic Blast and that Royal Ascot winner. And then a week later, he stepped back up to the mile in the Emirates, and he didn't win that year. He finished 10th.
Yeah, I reckon Glenn Boss rode him that day potentially.
Denny Nikolic. Yeah, at 51.5. And then, in that following Autumn Carnival, he won the Oakley Plate first up, won the Newmarket.
Did Tears I Cry win that race?
Yeah.
It was about 150 to 1.
Was it like Nikita Berryman
or something like
Kieran
that?
Maher's first Group 1 winner, I reckon?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
I reckon I backed it one day. I was having a terrible day on the punt. I was at Hawkesbury Races having an awful day on the punt, and I liked it in the last race. It was like 20 to 1. It wasn't that race in particular, but it was 20 to 1. And I remember going home and borrowing money off my nan to go back to the races and back this 20-1 shot. And I paid it back in interest. So
Yeah. They're the ones you like.
It's
Right
the
off
best.
the
It's
back
probably
pretty
not
quick.
the best. It's probably not the best responsible gambling story, but
Times
I was
have
a
changed.
kid.
That's right.
I was a kid and I had a lot of expendable income.
Yeah.
And I had my parents to feed me if I lost all my dough.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Tears O'Cry did win that year. That 3-year-old autumn season, not that his spring wasn't any worse, but, yeah, Oakley Plate, Newmarket, then Randwick Guineas, then he beat the older horses in the George Rider, and then we saw him in the spring. He won a Memsey, was only a Group 2, and a Mackay Diva was only a Group 2. He won them both. They're both now Group 1 races. And Underwood, beaten in a Turnbull, 12th in a Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, he should have went to the Cox Plate.
Yeah. Yeah. What could have been, hey? Never travelled.
Great horse.
Never went overseas, but he
I think that was potentially when EI was
Oh, yeah, you're probably
equine
right.
influenza.
Yeah.
So he didn't have the opportunity to travel.
And it looks like he didn't really 2009 he raced in January and February, and then we didn't see him for 12 months when he
I think that
returned.
Caulfield Cup cooked him.
Yeah. There you go. Great old horse.
And they had the Vale Weekend Hustler at Sandown yesterday.
Yep. Flying Mean in his
It
colours.
didn't win.
I know.
No.
I backed it.
Would have been nice if it had won.
Would have been,
Would have been a good
yeah.
story.
Would have been, yeah. Probably not to the same extent that Weekend Hustler's your favourite horse, but Alligator Blood has been one of Sam's favourite
I know
horses for a long time.
Sam and Pat love Alligator Blood.
7 Group 1, Stradbroke winner, so he's
Good horse.
Great old horse.
Most memorable moment with Alligator Blood was when he beat that Kiwi in the Australian Games. Catalyst, yeah, that was good.
That was a great race.
Yeah, I backed him too that day. I reckon that's the only time I've ever backed that horse.
He was really good to me, like through his grades as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, because he was a Queenslander.
So like he won like a Vo Rogue, and I remember the day that the float broke down, or they got stuck in traffic on the way to the Gold Coast for the Magic Millions Guineas. I was on him at like $5 all in, and he was $1.80 that day, and I was thinking,
I remember.
Please don't scratch him. Please don't scratch him.
There was a problem with the highway or something.
Yeah,
wasn't there?
the motorway was blocked. There was a crash on the motorway, and
they put the races
back to wait for him to get there, and thankfully he got there.
I would have been spewing if I had another runner in the race.
Yeah,
that they put the races back. Yeah. If you can't get there, you can't get there.
No,
bad luck.
Tough titties.
Did he win a Stradbroke, or he ran second in the Stradbroke?
Won the Stradbroke.
And who did he beat? Do you remember?
Private Eye.
Right down the outside. Hey,
yeah,
they came right down the outside.
Yeah, like middle of the. Yeah, they were in the middle of the track. Rothfire ran third, I think, back to the inside. He let him up. Private Eye had no luck that year. He was held up, but like Alligator Blood won pretty well.
And that was like early days with Gay and Adrian Hay. That was like.
Yeah, so he had just
third run for them, or second run for them, or something like that.
Yeah, because he had a stint with Billy Healy, and he didn't get going there, and then he had another break, and then he went down to Gay and Adrian, and because he was still in the green.
Oh yeah,
green
he was.
colours,
Yeah.
like he wasn't.
He's a good horse.
Yeah, great old horse. 7 Group 1s, I think I read. So
yeah,
hard to do that, Blake. The Masters kicks off tonight. Are you going to be up late at night?
No, that's not mine. That's not me.
Not your cup of tea. I will be. Well, I probably won't be up late at night tonight. I'll be up relatively early, I'd say tomorrow, watch the early ones, and then we'll get stuck in Sunday and Monday. But
I saw you put on a big 10-leg multi or something.
I'm going to give the punters, the listeners, the same game multi for the Masters, 250 to 1. So we're going to cheer that home. So
I've never backed a 250 to 1 winner.
No, so
good luck.
Wishful thinking. But same game multi, 9 legs. So I'm having Scotty Scheffler to finish in the top 10. He's won it twice. Found a little bit of form last weekend. So Scheffler top 10. And then we're having a few to finish in the top 20. We're having Colin Morikawa, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Joaquin Neiman, and the Aussie, Minwoo Lee, all to finish in the top 20. And then 3 blokes to finish in the top 40, Sepp Straka, Tyrrell Haddon, and Adam Scott, Australia's only ever Masters winner. So 250 to 1 for those 9 to hopefully be thereabouts on Monday morning.
When I was a younger lad, people used to say that I looked like Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't see it. But
Okay, well, that's fine. He's just a good-looking bloke, you know?
Yeah, naturally.
I
I've been compared to Scotty Scheffler.
I don't know what Scotty Scheffler looks like, to tell you the truth, so I can't make that. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, well, if you put a hat on me and a polo shirt and I trim the beard a little bit.
I'm sure you do. I saw on Instagram, which got me thinking, that there was some bloke in America that had been like multiing LeBron James to score over 10 points in every game.
Yeah.
And I found this relatively amazing, that he's scored over 10 points in every game he's played in since 2007.
Wow. Odds obviously wouldn't be
like
$5,
$1
or something like that.
I don't know.
I reckon some bookies here wouldn't even have the
No,
option.
they wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
I looked on it yesterday on a couple of bookies and they didn't have it.
Right.
But I'm sure
you'd be able to find it
you'd
somewhere.
be able to get on somewhere or like Betfair or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he's doing it.
Yeah.
It didn't go into too much details, but it got me thinking, like, potentially you could do something like that with Cleary or someone in the NRL.
Well, I think like Scheffler would be a great one because I can like just to make the cut in golf tournaments because it's something ridiculous that he's made every cut in the last 3 seasons or something like that. So
consistent, Nicholas.
Very consistent. But I'm going to pose a bit of a hypothetical to you and to our listeners. So listeners, send it in. We'll put this on our socials as well, maybe on Sunday when the Masters is really heating up. But we're giving you a free $100 bet. So I'm giving you $100 to have on the Masters, but there's a catch, Blake. You can only have it on yourself to pull something off out on the course. So no warm up, no skills, no caddy, just you and the golf game that you currently possess, which might be no good at all. Like, might be a bit of a hacker, but a few options. What you're going to have it on: sink a 10-foot putt, hit the fairway off the first tee, get out of the bunker in one shot, make a bogey or better on any hole. Hit the green in regulation on a par 3. Are there any like there that you'd think you'd be?
Oh, I'd be able to hit the green in regulation on a par 3. That's just one, right?
That's just one shot, just landed on the green.
Oh, I could do that.
You could do that.
I'm very good at getting out of bunkers.
Yeah.
I was quite a good bunker player, I felt.
Yeah. Just bury your feet nice and deep in the sand.
And swing right through the ball.
Yeah. Hit under it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be quite. I think I haven't played in a decade, but I think I'd be quite good.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew you was. I knew that there'd be no hesitation from you, and you're going. You know what? Instead of one bet, I'm going to have this. I'm going to have the same game multi. Put them all in there and have the 100 on it.
Yeah,
yeah.
What else was there?
Hit the fairway. Like hit
off
the fairway
first tee?
off the first
probably
tee.
Not.
No, see, that's the one I straight away ruled out because the course I play at, I've put the ball in the same trees three times in a row.
But if I had to, like.
Well,
if I just took a 3-iron off the tee or something like that,
just like
put it straight down the middle.
Play a 6-iron and just.
But I could hit the driver anyway. I could hit the second fairway potentially.
Yeah, the one
or the
over.
Third one, the one over.
The 8th coming back.
Yes,
this way.
maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, potentially. I think I'd be going to the green. I'd be getting the putter out and the 10-foot putt.
10-foot putt.
That's not
easy.
Not easy, but it's not. I reckon a 3-foot putt's almost harder sometimes. And they're right there.
But
those greens at Augusta are they're tough.
You just got to breathe.
Yeah.
Stand over the ball. Put it in the hole.
We've seen you in the SEN office. And
very good.
Very, very good. We might we'll have to tee up.
We'll play. Day. We'll play one day.
We will. Let's get into a bit of a favourite segment of ours, Blake.
Here we go. This is going to be fun. Ready? Go. All right. First name is Tom.
No names, no rhyming,
all right.
no sound alike.
Okay, you're getting into my head. First name is Blake, and he goes on a cruise. He goes on a Caribbean cruise.
I don't know.
Katie Holmes. No. Ah!
It's a done deal. Got up to midfield now. He's pulled the stick on him. He's still got a bit of work to do, though.
Shot to the front over the rise, led by a couple on Managar and Glass
Reliable
Harmonium.
man.
It's a done deal.
Straight away.
A little here and is well clear.
I was there and I backed him.
The former English galloper is going to cause a big boil over here with is going to lower the colours of It's a Done Deal and wins it by 2.5. It's a Done Deal second. Happy Trails got third, and then Secret Admirer followed by Silent Achiever, then Zarella Managar, and last in was Glass Harmonium.
When I was a kid, I reckon like on the Wednesday night or something like that, we went to dinner, and I was a young fella. My dad, our family went to dinner with Hugh Bowman, and Hugh was talking about that horse.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, It's a Done Deal is going to have to be very good to beat it." So I went to the races with that mentality, and I backed him.
There you go. What price was he? Do you know?
I reckon he was about
like around that 750,
7. Yeah, that would be right. Yeah.
I assume like in the call, it was that caused a massive boil over. And
I think Done Deal might have been
like
$1.50
or maybe not that short, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's what 15 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, true. I just feel good that I've given you one that you've got straight off the bat.
I knew that as soon
as you heard It's a Done Deal.
As soon as I heard it.
Yeah.
McDonald would have been on It's a Done Deal.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll find out what price he started in that race anyway.
Now, Reliable Man, that was his. He never raced again.
I reckon he broke down after the post.
After the post, yeah, because I watched the video. The replay it was quite good. The replay had included the post race interview with Waller and whatnot as well. But there was vision of him coming back to scale, and he was walking back to the horse came back to scale. No worries. So I thought, I wonder what happened there, but because that's what I thought too, that he did.
I reckon he did. I don't think he ever raced again.
No, he didn't. Good stallion. There's a few of his progeny go okay.
I'm trying to find what price he started. He ran 8th in a Cox Plate. That was the Seamus Award Cox Plate. Happy Trails ran 2nd in that Cox Plate.
Yep.
That day I was at home. That wasn't that day, but I was at home and my cousin Adam called me and was like, "Oh, go to the pub and have as much money as you can get on Happy Trails to run a place in the Cox Plate," because he might have won a Turnbull or a race like that, and they turned him off to $16 the win, the tab.
Yeah.
Turned him off to $16 the win, but they left the place price, and he was like $18 the place.
Right.
So I backed him at $18 the place. So that was a good result.
Yeah, so
Reliable Man. Yeah. He started $1.28.
Yeah.
And Happy Trails run 3rd in that race.
Yeah.
What a horse.
That was a good, like a pretty good addition to the Queen Elizabeth. Silent Achiever, Secret Admirer. They were two good mares. And Glass Harmonium was always one of my favourites. I don't know why, but he was just always one that I liked.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunate. We only saw Reliable Man twice in Australia.
Yeah.
In the George Rider,
yep,
and then the Queen Elizabeth.
He was. Would you have got My Kingdom of Fife? Like, who he won in Queen Elizabeth? See, that was a.
I wouldn't have got
no,
that.
See, that's what I thought.
My Kingdom of Fife.
Yeah.
When did he win it?
Like maybe 2012, 2013.
Oh,
he was.
I don't even remember the horse.
I was going back through all the past winners, and I remember when My Kingdom of Fife, I'm sure he was an import, and he came over here with Chris Waller, and so he came over, he won it was a Group 3 at Randwick, and then he won the Queen Elizabeth. He beat Sacred Choice and Sirion, so 2011, but then he won the Hollandale up here, and then won a Craven Plate. I feel like, maybe I thought he was better than what his record suggests.
I've never even. I
thought he
couldn't even
won
remember what colours he raced in. So
the Janoob colours.
Janoob.
Remember him? The white with the green sleeves and the red cap.
Janoob.
Like them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What's the best horse to race in those colours?
Yeah, they did have a really good one.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Didn't they have the thing that ran second in the Tancred last year? More Felons.
Oh, More Felons, yeah.
There you go.
I was thinking Melbourne Cup, but they haven't won a Melbourne Cup, those colours. But
Janoob was a good old stayer, but yeah, he was no superstar.
What, did he win a Sydney Cup or something like that?
Or I was thinking maybe a Metrop.
Maybe.
But yeah. Anyway, let's get into this weekend, hey punters. But before we do, let's talk about last weekend, Blake. Members only went off over just 3 days, Friday to Sunday. We sent out 8 tips and 5 of them won. That was a massive 62.5% win strike rate and a whopping 88 units of profit in the bank. That's the kind of form you want heading into the pointy end of the Autumn Carnival. And with day 2 of the championships heating up this Saturday, there's no better time to get involved. Here's the kicker. Use the code POD35, that's POD35, and save 35% on your membership for as long as you're signed up. No gimmicks, just big results and a proper discount, exclusive to you legends tuning into the pod. Go to the site, enter POD35, and let's smash in a few more winners.
And Winks is rounding them up, coming right around the field. Kluger takes an inside run. She's gone for home already, Winks. She beats off Hartnell. Kluger going up the inside. Happy Clubber can't go on. Winks is 2 lengths clear. Kluger sticks on. Then came Hartnell, but she's well clear, Winks, inside the final 100 metres. Today we farewell an Australian icon, the greatest of all time. Winks wins a third. Queen Elizabeth beats
4 Group
Kluger.
1s this weekend, Blake. Day 2 of the championships. We've got some of the best horses in the country going around. I'm talking your Via Sistinas, your Fangirls, Treasure the Moment, Autumn Glow, Dubai Honour, the import over here. Is there a highlight race for you this weekend? Sort of, it seems like it's a bit of a girls' day this weekend. You got the Queen Elizabeth where Via Sistina's real short. Then you got the Queen of the Turf, the Oaks. Good racing.
Good racing.
I can imagine that a lot of punters will be having a little multi this weekend.
There will be a lot of punters having a little multi this weekend. I have no doubt. There's a few shorties on the card. It's not like I was really excited about day 1 of the championships as a betting proposition, and today and day 2 I'm not as excited, but as a spectacle, it's going to be something very special. Like it's going to be a great day. I hope all the favourites win.
So do
I hope they all win
for the sake of my multis and the punters multis. Before
What's
we do,
the price of the multi?
no, I see. I took it all in. I didn't have Fangirl in that, so I had Autumn Glow, Treasure the Moment, LL Cants, Via Sistina, 12-1, 11-1.
Ooh.
But I think it might be like
You lead us into the first race you want to talk about, and I'll just muck around and I'll put it on.
Well, let's go to the big one, the Queen Elizabeth. Now, 7 horses have won the Randwick Queen Elizabeth double, while 9 have done the Tancred Stakes and the Queen Elizabeth double. So Via Sistina won this year's Randwick, Dubai Honour won the Tancred this year. They're the only 2 horses in single figures in this year's race. Of course, last year, Via Sistina, she won the Randwick. She was short price favourite to win this Queen Elizabeth, but I tell you what, Pride of Jenny, she put up one of the performances of a lifetime in the Queen Elizabeth last year. No Pride of Jenny this year.
Yeah, last year's Queen Elizabeth was a spectacle.
Yeah.
One of the best races I've ever watched live. That was the best of Pride of Jenny. I think, like,
a few jocks might have been asleep at the wheel.
Asleep, yeah, no doubt.
But it was probably the first time she had done that like that too. Like we knew she was going to lead, but
they probably expected her to come back to them, to some extent as well. If I don't think we'd see that again, even if she reproduced that performance, like against Via Sistina, a high pressure race isn't going to make Via Sistina implode. So I think that she wouldn't get away with that again.
Yeah. Are you with Via Sistina this year?
I think Via Sistina is the most likely winner of the race, but she is one of the shorties on the day that I think that the market will take on to some extent, because she has this really big outlier in the Cox Plate, which she hasn't been able to reproduce since. But that was the performance of a lifetime. And if she reproduced that, she'd obviously win this nice and easy. But is that performance just left to the valley? She's building to a performance, a big peak performance, but I couldn't take her to that figure. She's going to have to reproduce one of her better performances in Australia, which we're expecting her to do on Saturday. But I can't get her as short as the market has her currently. I think that she's probably a 230 chance, somewhere around there. So I expect the market to push back against her. There's probably a little bit too much in the market between her and Dubai Honor. Last time he was here, he took the Ramvet 3 weeks into this race, and he beat the likes of Animo,
Yep.
who was a champion in Australia.
He also won the Cox Plate in that previous spring, like Fia did.
Did he?
Yeah, so that was his last run.
Okay, yeah, okay.
He ran last in it the year before in the Queen Elizabeth as a 3-year-old off his Rosehill Guineas win, and then this was his final run. Because I was reading, it's not been a very good race, not been a good sentimental farewell race for Australian icons. So Octagonal, Lonhro, and Enemo all got beat in the Queen Elizabeth at their final race start, and obviously Winks, she won it. So there you go.
Yeah, well, Dubai Honor, I know it's not Via Sistina's last race or anything like that. Well, fingers crossed. I think that he is a very worthy competitor. Yeah. And I think that he's going to run super. So this time around, he goes Tancred into the Queen Elizabeth. So 2,400 metres 2 weeks later into this race over 1.25 miles. But he didn't have the tempo to suit in that Tancred either, and he was just too good for them. Market liked him late. If I was going to have a bet in the race right now, I'd have to back him. Okay. But I think that she's the most likely winner.
Yeah, well, this whole segment could almost be, do you think the favourite will win, yes or no? Who's the likely danger or who's the best value in the race? So for me, Via Sistina will win. But I think the somewhat forgotten horse is Chow Wolf. I know he's drawn awfully in barrier 15, and last start was far from convincing at Rose Hill, but it was a heavy track. He was on the 7-day backup. This has been his grand final all along. When markets first went up, he was like $6 in this race as sort of a genuine competitor to Via Sistina. So, look, I think at $15, you can be forgiving for a pretty bloody good racehorse. So that's how I'm going to play the Queen Elizabeth.
It's a good race.
Yeah, Buckaroo. I wish he ran in the Doncaster and was arriving here third up, but
yeah, I think Buckaroo. I don't think this is his race to tell you the truth, but
he's a Hollandale margin.
I loved his first up run. Yeah. He just was given no hope. That was in the George Ryder. Yep. Yeah, got back, was about to launch late, but ran into a bit of traffic. But yeah, I think I would have liked to see him bounce into a Doncaster, and then we would have seen a peak performance here. But I guess they've got something else in mind for him, potentially going to come to Queensland. Apparently, Rousham Park is a world-class horse, so if he brings his A game, then... And Christophe Lemaire is here to ride him.
Yes.
First ride in Sydney.
There you go. Melbourne Cup winning jock.
So world-class, yeah. Dunedin?
Yeah.
Dunedin? Yeah. Light infantry, man. That was a good win. Yep. Good last start win. First time at 2,000 metres for Kieran Mars. So I'll be interested to see how he measures up here.
Is Tom Kidden a bit forgotten as well? Like, he beat Light Infantryman in that All-Star Mile. He's a Spring Champion Stakes winner over 2,000. He bolted in that day. Didn't have much luck in that slowly run Doncaster 7 days ago. It's like Randwick, 2,000 metres, big track, 20-1 seems large.
Well, I don't there shouldn't be much between Chow Wolf and Tom Kitten, but there's not much between Chow Wolf and Tom Kitten. Yeah. So one's a $15 chance and one's a $21 chance. Yeah. So their runs last preparation in the likes of an Epsom were very comparable, and you'd probably say that Tom's back better than he was last preparation, and potentially Chow Wolf is just off the pace a little bit.
Yep.
Not far.
No.
But I really expected him to win that Craven Plate nice and easy. And I don't know how he won it.
No.
I still think that he got beat, but I'm not sure, and I wouldn't be diving into him personally, but I like him as a horse, and he's got it in him to win this race.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the Oaks, where the Yulong fillies and mares army just continues, because Treasure the Moment, she'll be trying to be the first filly to do the VRC Oaks, ATC Oaks double in the same season since 2005 and 2006, when Serenade Rose did that double. Now, Serenade Rose also won the Vinery Stud Stakes, which Treasure the Moment won 11 days ago. And she'll be trying to be the first horse to do the Vinery Oaks double since Hungry Heart did back in 2021, who Hungry Heart also owned by Yulong. So there you go. Can she do it?
Yeah, she's very good.
She is.
Lane got off her the other day. Like, on her last start win,
Yep.
take away SPs,
Yep.
take away previous performances, you wouldn't have her $1.65 chance. But that being said, she's going to be better on top of the ground. Damien Lane said that it took away her turn of foot. So we're expecting her to come back to somewhere what she was producing in Melbourne prior to that heavy track run.
Yeah.
So,
and like that was the knock going into the Vinery was, we don't know. She's never been on a heavy track.
it was a question mark. It was a big question mark.
Yeah, and that seemed to be, the consensus.
But she was too good.
She was, and she was
Class
strong
prevailed.
at the end of 2000 as well. Like,
Class prevailed. The trip's no worries.
No.
I think she'll win. They're talking up this Like a Lucy.
yeah. the
First
Kiwi.
up for the new stable. McDonald on board. McDonald was on the radio with Dave Stanley yesterday saying that they expect her to run 1-2.
Yeah.
And she's won 1, 2.
She's won the last 6.
5.
Oh,
6.
sorry. Or she might have
5
won
in
on
a row.
debut and then she got beat and then she won
Yeah,
5
she's won
in a row.
5 in a row. And that Oaks, I don't know whether or not she really stays 2,400 metres. I'm not sure, because she was held up. And then she burst through and held off that horse that runs second, who's also in this race.
Yeah, Dubai Gold Rush.
But she wasn't really attacking the line. I think that, like, potentially 2,400 metres throughout her career is probably going to be a stretch for her.
Yeah.
But
She's going to be Chris Waller's Epsom horse. I assume. Like, based off previous sort of years, like we've seen him keep these like middle distance 3-year-old types, like your Kovalikas, for instance. Like, he's gone to Epsoms and Golden Eagles. Like, I can see her being that sort of horse.
Yeah,
I don't think they've bought her for a Caulfield Cup as a 4-year-old. I think they bought her for a Golden Eagle.
he's done it like, I know it hasn't been successful, but like, was Scarlet Oak
yeah.
is that type, because they took her to Queensland for that
Yeah.
Oaks and they've kept her to much shorter trips this preparation. But there's going to be a few that'll run really well here. I've got a few good futures tickets. I'm on Verona Rose to run a place at $3.85. I'm on Belvedere to run a place at $17. And I'm on Ella Hazel to run a place at $26 or something along those lines. So
You need 4 places.
I would like, I don't want to see Treasure of the Moment go pop, but if she did go pop and 3 place spots became available, that would be nice for me.
That would be nice. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Verona Rose is going to run great.
Yeah.
The draw isn't ideal. She's going to get back anyway. But Belvedere, she's pretty good. What
Yeah.
she did last start, she got a nice card into the race, but she was 28 days between runs, up in trip. It was a set play. The market adored her on the back of 2 trials. So she'll run well. And the one that you liked out of that, Adrian Knox, Miss Alexis, it was a good run.
It was, yeah. I thought she's the value pick in the race for me. I agree with you what you said about Belvedere and Verona Rose, but yeah, Miss Alexis, she's bred to win an Oaks, isn't she? She's by Dundee out of Jamaica. She's just going to eat up 2,400. This is only a 5th race start as well. Kira Ma knows a thing or two about winning 3-year-old classic races. So, yeah, I don't think she can beat Treasure at the moment. I won't be sitting on a chair because I would fall off it if she gets beaten on Saturday. But
You'd fall off if Treasure of the Moment got beat?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got
We'll have to video that.
Yeah, I've got a number 1 as out of the fillies, 3-year-old fillies. She's number 1
I'm
seed.
highly doubtful that she's number 1.
Yeah.
I think Aliana would start favourite if they had her backed up here.
Treasure the Moment would eat it for breakfast. But yeah, Miss Alexis, the value for me. Sydney Cup, Blake. This is an interesting race because
This is the race.
This is the race because now, surprisingly, if you were to go into a Saturday where there's 4 Group 1s and I told you that the longest priced favourite out of those 4 Group 1s is $2.40, you'd probably be a little bit surprised, but that's what we're dealing with this year. And LL Cance is that horse in this Sydney Cup now. Dominant winner last start in the Chairman's Quality at Randwick over 2,600 now. 9 horses have backed up previously and won the Sydney Cup. So 9 horses that have won the Chairman's have then gone on and won the Sydney Cup, while 11 of the last 20 winners of this Sydney Cup have come through that Chairman's Quality. LL Cance, she's got a nice go-forward racing pattern. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bott, they've won a couple of Sydney Cups together. Knight's Order, I think the most recent of that. I think actually he's the only horse in the past 7 years not to be trained by Chris Waller or Kieran Maher to win the Sydney Cup.
Really?
Yeah, so there you go.
I think Rachel King,
Yep.
did she win on him that day? Or
JLW too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good old horse.
Yeah, he was. I reckon he came up here and won the Brisbane Cup after that too. He was.
I think they ran him. He ran in a couple of Melbourne
Cups. Yeah.
One Melbourne Cup, maybe.
Yeah, might have run 4th or 5th in a Caulfield Cup or something like that. But
I think she is too short
yeah, okay.
at $2.45. Everything has played out very well for her at her past couple. I know that she's won 3 in a row this preparation, and she's on an upward trajectory. It's the first time that we've seen her even 3 runs into a preparation in Australia. So 4th up, there's potential that it is a peak performance, but given the fact that she's had tempo to suit at her last couple, I'm not expecting her to bounce off that last start figure.
Yeah. Is there much
She
speed
draws
in it?
wide
Like, is
here,
yeah.
takes control, but Group 1 company, grand final day for many of these horses, such a big field. You'd expect there to be at least some tempo, but we say that in Melbourne Cups, and sometimes the tempo comes out
And we
of the
say
race.
that in Doncasters and they crawl.
Yeah, so we don't really know. Duke de Sessa, he's going to go forward.
Yeah, he's an interesting one because, like, when I saw him accept, I was thinking, what are you doing here? Because he's won a Caulfield Cup in the spring, and then they pull the pin on going to the Melbourne Cup.
They
with
would
him
never
because
go into the Melbourne Cup, though.
No, because they said he didn't stay. He wouldn't run 3,200. Now they pop up here. He's got the top weight. Like, wouldn't you have thought you could have had a crack last year in a Melbourne Cup?
I don't think he was in the nominations.
No, but if you've just won a Caulfield Cup and you've got a horse with 52 kilos, you'd pay up, wouldn't you?
Well, he's going
very
well.
well. Oh, he's
going
flying.
very
He's
well
flying. Yeah.
This preparation. So I think that he is over the odds.
Yeah.
Like if Ma wants to run him, $9.50 coming through Weight for Age Company. I know that he has to carry top weight here, but he still has to carry 2.5 kilos less than he does at Weight for Age. So he's still not in badly at the weights. Arapaho, I don't think that he'll run 3,200 metres.
Did he run in this?
He ran in it
4th last year, maybe, or
was
the
that
year he
last
won
year?
the Tancred?
2 years ago? Yeah, and he had every possible chance. In his couple of runs over 3,200 metres, he's produced below his best. I think Circle of Fire is flying.
He's going well.
He's ready for this trip. He's come through the Weight for Age path as well. He's in well at the weights. 22 is tough, but when he did win this race, he drew 14 or so, 3 deep without cover on a fast tempo and put up a big figure. So $18 about him is a good price. Zardozi's run well in a Melbourne Cup. I think Tajanis is a very good stayer.
Yeah, so he's been to Auckland or Wellington for a cup over there?
Yeah, Auckland Cup.
Yeah, ran
Gave
second.
3,200 metres. He was a moral beaten.
Right.
Have you watched it?
I think I might have seen it live.
Yeah, he was a moral beaten. He got shuffled back. He was
Yeah.
held up in the straight. The winner had all the momentum down the outside, and he sort of got clear late and dove through and just missed. They beat the third horse easy.
Yeah.
You only have to go back to 3 starts ago when he copped a great ride from James McDonald. He beat Gilded Waters that day.
Yeah.
So if Gilded Waters was in a race like this, he would have been close enough to favourite. Like I know in early markets, he was one of the
Yeah.
favourites in this race. Tajanis, $35. The draw's no good. But this might be my chance to get the hot take with Alicia
I
Collett
was just
winning
about
her
to say
first
that.
Group 1.
You've been manifesting it, that this would be the sort of race, if she's going to win it, this would be it. And
Lands on a Waller runner
Yeah.
in form, who's a very good stayer. He's going to
Yeah.
need a good ride, but I think that he is going to run well. And the other one, so I could potentially have 3 bets in this race.
Okay.
I'm going to have something on Circle of Fire. I'm going to have something on Tajanis, and I'm going to have something on River of Stars.
Yeah.
I think River of Stars comes through the right race. I think the Tancred Stakes form is the form, and I don't think anything went right for her there. She was wide early, maybe for the first 1,000 metres, took up a spot, and then Nash got going on her early when she was keen in the run. So maybe that run just takes the edge off her. She'll settle better. She's drawn better than the other horses that I think have got a good chance. Like she's got a middle draw. So Tyler finds a bit of cover, and I think she's going to run the 3,200 metres. I thought she stuck on well last start, considering not much went right.
Yeah, and I think when the comments from Chris Waller on his preview show before she ran in that Tancred was that she might be the Melbourne Cup horse, or she might be a Melbourne Cup horse. So 3,200 metres, certainly no worries. I'm sitting on a ticket on Athabaskan. I don't know if he's going well enough to win it based on his last start, but 2 back, started $5 behind. LL Cance carried 4 kilos more than her that day. He got beat 4.5 lengths, but didn't really need to win. And then the start before that behind LL Cance again, he was close to a moral beat, I think. There were a few good runs in behind, but he just had no luck whatsoever. So he ran second in this race last year. He's drawn barrier 4. He gets down to 53.5 kilos now. I think he's just been building to something, and this has been grand final day all along. They just seemed completely not bothered last start to try and win. They just flopped him straight out the back, and he hit the line as well as anything. There weren't really much hitting the line in that race, whether or not that's the right form, but I'm just going to be sticking with him and hoping. Strathtay was probably the one in that race that hit the line.
He was a good run,
anything,
Strathtay.
but whether or not that's the right form.
I think Birdman was a good run there too.
Yeah.
And he's the one that draws to get a suck run.
He's drawn one. Yeah.
Zach Lloyd on board.
Yeah.
I think Athabaskan was a good run last start. He lost his spot. I think he lost his spot maybe between the 6 and the 4. He got shuffled back.
Because he went straight back early, and then he improved and got into a spot, and then, like you say,
his late work was okay.
Yeah.
And then
He'll settle
I think
closer from
blinkers
4.
first time.
I think you might be right.
I think I'm pretty confident
Blinkers,
that they've
yeah.
got the blinkers on him.
Yeah.
So peak performance. I think that he'll run well.
Yep. Even if he doesn't win, he can just run a hole at $8 the place for me. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
We're
good
place
luck.
betting on Saturday.
I love a good place bet.
Yeah.
I'm on Lekvate, the place at $26 in the Queen of the Turf. I'm not sure if she can win it or even run a place, but I'm happy with that. I'll cheer that home.
Well, that's the race we're going to talk about next. So there's only been 53, I think, editions. 39 times the mares have won it, and 14 times the 3-year-old fillies have won it. We haven't seen a filly win it since Elise in 2018, but Lazura and another Prophet, a Group 1 winner, and Lazura, good thing licked last start. They're both here, Blake. Can either of the 3-year-olds win it this year, or is it all fangirl?
Elise was...
Godolphin.
Yeah, Godolphin.
Yeah, gun.
She got a quality filly or like is there any
was there?
progeny on the ground?
There's always, or like a good, like she's from a really good family, so there's quite a few half brothers and sisters. I'm pretty sure that go pretty good.
Yeah, it's not coming to mind, but I'm pretty confident that
It wasn't Bivouac out of Elise, was it?
maybe.
Yeah.
I think Fangirl will win. The last time she was, do you know when the last time was that she was kept to her own sex?
This race 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah, and she struck a heavy 10,
Yeah,
which is not her go. No.
So she obviously got beat. Was that Nimmerly's year?
I don't remember, but yeah, that might be right.
Yeah.
It was a heavy 10. I think she started 750 off a Vinery win, so she must have been a 3-year-old filly as well.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have started 750 if it was a dry surface as well. Yeah, she's been competitive in some of the best races around the country.
Yeah.
Like, and this is her trip, Randwick mile, draws 6, McDonald on, set weights against her own sex.
Yeah. This is like...
She couldn't be any better placed. And her run in the George Ryder was elite.
Yeah.
Like, she was wide when you had to be on the fence. And she was very strong late. So obviously she should have won that race, and now she comes back. So she's going as well as she's ever gone, and I think that she'll be winning. Like comparable, a Tissue should have won this race last year off the same preparation, 1.25 miles, Australian Cup back to the mile at Randwick, held up. She was heavily supported, and she launched just to miss Zugotcha late. Yep. You'd have to suggest that Fangirl is a 2-length better horse than Zugotcha.
Easily. Yeah. Maybe not easily, but yeah, no, she would be.
I think, and I think like you'd probably put Zugotcha and Steffi Magnetica in the same category.
Yeah.
Like I know Zugotcha didn't win a Doncaster, but
she started $7 in one or $8 in one, I reckon.
And I don't think she got beat far.
No,
either.
She drew the car park and she was wide the trip from memory.
Yeah, so I think Fangirl is a couple of lengths better than these, and I think that she'll win.
Yeah, it's the classic like just from going against the boys and being the best horse in the race against the boys back to the fillies and mares, like weight for age or set weights, like the Tats Tiara, for example, is like that. When you get the horse, the mare that carries a bigger weight than the boys in the Stradbroke, runs well against the boys, and then comes back to set weights against the mares and meets everything better at the weights. She's they're the ones you want to be with. So yeah, Fangirl looks the clear horse to beat. I just didn't really see much like anywhere outside of her to go, to be honest. I thought $1.95, $2, that seems a bit of a gift. Like Steffi Magnetica, she's a Stradbroke and a Doncaster winner, so...
I don't think you could back Steffi, in my opinion. Like, I think she was very good winning the Doncaster.
Yeah. But you go back the run before that in that George Ryder, she was plain, and Fangirl was ginormous, and now they're here, and it's... Yeah, I think it's... clear Fangirl's the horse to beat.
Lazura was an absolute moral beat in the last start.
She was good.
By Lekvate.
She was
Lekvate is going to be better on a drier surface because I was really annoyed that I didn't back her because I was saying to you on the Thursday, like, oh, this is the best. Like, if we're on a dry track, this is the best 6-1 chance you'll see.
That's a wet track.
But it's a wet track. Like, I should have just backed her, but I didn't. And she got the job done. But she was lucky to win, and the other horse probably should have beat her by a length. But
Coevalente was really well backed in that race from memory, wasn't she?
Found Fence in Run, though. I don't think...
Not the place to be?
That was the place to be. That was absolutely the place to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Lazura didn't find Fence in Run. Yeah. So it was a big performance. But she draws sticky here. So
What about Argold Hope? She really served it up to... Chow Wolf that day. She ran third, beaten 0.2, but I
should have won
less. Yeah, should have won. She's 2,000 back to 1,600. This is a fair sort of step up in class to Group 1 level when you've got the likes of Fangirl. But can she sort of add a bit of value to trifectas and first fours, do you think?
I think she potentially needs a wet track.
Yeah, and maybe 2,000 like a...
I think probably like a wet track over a mile would be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2,000 metres is probably her go.
Yeah.
1,600 metres plus. But yeah, a wet track would be ideal.
Yeah. Well, that's the 4 Group 1s sort of wrapped up, Blake. Not a whole lot of value this weekend, unfortunately. Is there something that you can steer the punters into that you are liking anywhere else? That's
I can.
A bit of value might be worth a bet rather than taking $1.70 about something.
I'll give you the best 60 to 1 shot on the program. It's in the last race. Infancy.
Okay. I half liked her.
Infancy is a very, very good 60 to 1 shot. Just going back through her form, last preparation, I just remember her getting over the top of them over 1,100 metres in a fireball. And then second up, I think she was potentially 28 days between. No, this was actually deeper into her preparation. Last prep, she had no luck with the draws. So this is 2 preps ago. In a PJ Bell Stakes, she drew wide and she got to the outside and she didn't run down. That was the day Facile run.
Yep.
I think, was there potentially this day? Is the PJ Bell and
It was
that day
weekend.
one?
That was Clean
Day
Energy
one.
race.
Yeah, so day 1 of the championships. She ran straight past Commemorative that day.
Yeah.
That was the day I think we backed Commemorative. She was back on the fence. But last preparation, she was just getting too far back from wide draws. First up, she was only beaten length and a half-ish by Commemorative. And then she ran really well with the wide draw behind horses like Ostraka. Had no luck last start behind Jetabil. This preparation, she's had 3 trials to prepare for this. And I just think $61, that's the wrong price. I think there's too much in the market between them.
Beautiful. I like that. We might leave it on that. Hopefully your birthday on Saturday, so have
a nice birthday present.
Have a good birthday, and hopefully it is a nice birthday present. A little bit better than last Sunday when Melbourne got the better of Manly, hey?
Yeah, they got very lucky.
Yeah, we might leave it at that. Thanks, punters. Enjoy day 2 of the championships.
See you, punters.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.